Aful, which I maintain is one of the worst names you can give your own brand. We've talked about Aful IEMs before on this channel, the Performer 5 as well as the Performer 5 Plus 2, or more accurately the Performer 7, both of which have been their most popular models, which is kind of unlike most IEM brands where their most popular models tend to be either side of the spectrum, the cheapest budget ones as well as their most expensive. Most people would know Aful for their Performer 5 series, but even less would know them for their more underrated model, the Performer 8. So let's talk about it. The Aful Performer 8, as the name implies, comes in with an 8-driver configuration, 7 balanced armatures, as well as a single dynamic driver woofer. It retails for $370 almost $150 more than the Performer 5 as well as the Performer 5 Plus 2. Now let's talk about the non-audio stuff, and in terms of the unboxing experience, well, if you've unboxed one Aful product, you really have unbox them all. Unlike the other Aful models though, the Performer 8 comes in with a nice leather wrap carrying case with a nice felt interior. In terms of the ear tips, it's not going to be different across all of the different Aful models. You're going to get 3 different colors of ear tips, but sonically, I don't think there's actually that much of a difference between all of them. So you're going to get small, medium, and large sizes of 3 different colors of tips, in total 9 pairs of ear tips. In terms of the build quality, the Aful Performer 8 is a fully 3D printed resin shell, which means it is also fully filled as opposed to your traditional tubing style of construction. The resin build extends all the way into the nozzle, which is good in that this is one of the thinnest nozzles that I've seen in a build of this size. On the flip side, this could have some durability issues down the road, but even worse is that this nozzle doesn't come with a lip. So depending on how much you wear out your ear tips could very well start falling off the moment you put them in your ears. And since this is an older model from Aful, it doesn't come with a 3.5 and 4.4 interchangeable connection, which means you can only buy them in a 3.5mm SKU or a 4.4mm SKU. In terms of comfort, it is a pseudo custom design, and inside my ears, it is very comfortable. I myself have no complaints. Now let's talk about the sound. And let's face it, the Aful Performer 8 is kind of a old school kind of tuning at this point. It follows more or less the IEF 2020 kind of neutral-ish sound signature, something that I still can appreciate even till today. But for some people who are chasing, of course, that kind of new meta mid-range, this is not an IEM for you. The Aful Performer 8 sound signature is a mild V-shape, a very, very mild one. You can tell that the bass is slightly emphasized, as is the treble, but in general, it is not what I'll consider a very exciting listen relative to all the other V-shaped sets that are out there on the market today. This is a balanced signature, if you want to call it that. The bass is very well controlled. It is more sub-bassy than it is a full bass presence. The treble is sparkly, there is brilliance, but not to the point where I'll call it sibilant, and definitely much less emphasized than even its predecessor, the Aful Performer 5. So putting the comparison out there, compared to the Performer 5 as well as the Performer 5 Plus 2, the Performer 8 is definitely a lot more subdued on both ends of the spectrum. You are going to get less bass as well as less treble compared to the 5 series, which is kind of the point. You buy the Performer 8 if you're looking for a more neutral, more reference, and quite frankly, a more balanced kind of sound signature. In terms of the detail, the resolution, the headroom, yes, the Performer 8 has that a little bit extra compared to the Performer 5 as well as the 5 Plus 2. In a way, I would regard the Performer 8 as a more refined version of the 5 series. You are going to get more resolution, a more mature tuning, but at the same time, you also have to pay a little bit extra for that. Now let's talk about the shoulds and the shouldn'ts, why you should consider buying a Performer 8 and why you shouldn't. You should if you're looking for an IEM that is more balanced, less emphasized on the bass as well as on the treble. The tuning is also a bit more on the old meta side of things. There is going to be a bit more vocal presence, which some people might like, but to others, it may be a bit more unnatural. Also consider the Performer 8 if you're a big fan of the 5 series and are just looking for that extra refinement, in which case the Performer 8 is literally the direct upgrade. And why you shouldn't consider the Performer 8? Well, as I've mentioned, if you're looking for a stronger V-shaped sound signature, then you might want to consider the Performer 5 or the Performer 5 Plus 2 instead. These two IEMs would provide you an even deeper V-shaped response, more bass as well as more treble, which results in a more exciting listen. The Performer 8 is also of the old meta tuning, which is more colored in the vocals, but again, as I've said, some people might find that unnatural. And finally, in terms of the non-audio stuff, if you're someone who doesn't like the fact that it has a resin build, or simply the fact that it doesn't have interchangeable connections. But hey, you don't have to take my word for it, you can always try it out for yourself at The Hangout. We're located at 200 Southbridge Road in Chinatown. Come on down, grab a cup of coffee or even ice cream, and then ask for the Performer 8. Try it out for yourself and then form your own opinions. And for those of you who are not privileged enough to be in Singapore, well, you can always come on down to hangout.audio, our online retail store. We ship globally and for free for orders over $30 US. This is Critical for Hangout.audio, and remember kids, if it's not on the list, it doesn't exist. See you next week.